Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan, he's a Corgi, and this is an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And here we are in Massachusetts where, yes, it's still cold enough that I need a sweater, a big sweater. So it's going to be 80 in 2 days. I can't wait. It's like you open a Christmas present when you find all your summer clothes hiding in your closet. So today I want to talk about something that has been a concern for many pet owners and children and moms and dads, and that is the topic of glyphosate and using that on our lawns. At this time of year, everybody's working outside and comparing their lawns, and there's commercials and commercials and commercials about making your lawn look like a golf course, when in fact, for most of us, that's not the reality. Many people like me live in the woods or live in a rural area, and they just can't do what it would take to make their lawn look like a golf course. And so they resort to all kinds of extreme measures, which for me would be using things like chemicals on your lawn, which of course I would never do. Now, down at the end of my road, there are like 5-acre plots of rolling lawn, just nothing. There's no trees that these people own in what used to be hayfields. And they have those little yellow signs that say, not safe, toxic to pets and children, keep off my lawn. And so we try really hard to not walk on those lawns, and a lot of them have been treated with weed killers of various kinds, and glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in Roundup, is likely one of them. And glyphosate is so abundant in the environment, they've tested all kinds of animals and they have not found hardly any that don't have glyphosate in them, humans as well, and streams and rivers and earth, and it's just amazingly abundant. And when you look at the TV at around 5:30, like every third commercial is on how to make your lawn look good and a sale on this trio of lawn products. So people are really not aware of how toxic it is. Glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in Roundup, has been classified as a probable carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. So it is supposedly safe and environmentally friendly. However, it has also been proven to be a toxic, hazardous chemical. And so people just don't understand what to do about it and how not to use it. And they say that according to the National Pesticide Information Center, Roundup does have toxic effects on dogs, including weight loss, lethargy, excessive drooling, vomiting, and diarrhea, and that 15% of dogs that eat grass or even chew on grass treated with glyphosate products develop serious symptoms and a toxic reaction. So you especially have to make sure that your dog is not licking or chewing on any grass that's been treated with any of these herbicides and certainly pesticides as well. So you should not let your pets walk through a treated area and then onto your lawn, because then your lawn becomes damaged as well. So you have to take a lot of care. What can you do? Well, first of all, keep your dog out of these areas and your own feet, because if you get glyphosate on your shoes and then walk around your yard, you're still bringing it home, and this stuff really stays in the environment. And as I've said before, I can't rule out the fact that I got cancer from the fact that I was using Roundup in between some bricks on a little patio I had that was making me crazy with the weeds. I just could not keep up with the weeding, and the bricks were becoming displaced and blah, blah, blah. And this was before anybody knew anything about Roundup in like 2001. So I squirted a little bit on the patio. Well, it took about 7 years for the tumor I had to grow to the size it was, and that's about as long as it was since I used the Roundup. Now, disposing of it when you have a half full bottle of it laying around is also very tricky. You have to wait for one of those days when they do a pickup of toxic things and keep it in a tightly, like a Ziploc bag type thing. Because, like I said, it's ubiquitous in the environment. It is really difficult to isolate a place where there isn't exposure to glyphosate, certainly in the United States. So if your pet does walk through there, make sure you clean his feet before you come in the house. I advocate the best thing is to take a hose with running water, and in an area that has, like your driveway where the runoff isn't going to be going into your lawn, to use that running water over your pet's feet, because that helps wash it off through the layers of hair. If you don't have that possibility, maybe you live in an apartment, some people have been using like organic, non-toxic baby wipes that come in a little plastic pack and wiping their dog's feet off with them. And I mean, somebody like me might try to use one wipe for my 4 little Corgi feet, but you've got to keep using a new side for every foot, because that stuff really is volatile when it's in water, and then you're just spreading it around your dog's feet instead of cleaning it off, which is why I really advocate for hosing your dog off. And you have to do that in an environment where it's not going to get onto your grass and into your water supply. It's not easy to figure out how to deal with this. And certainly you want to clean your dog. You might have to take him into the bathtub and really give him a bath if he was running around out there for a while on a lawn that's been treated with pesticide and herbicide. And of course, then it goes into your septic or into the sewer. And I don't know exactly whether or not that treatment system can eliminate the glyphosate, but it does not appear that it's dissipating in our environment very well. So really important yourself to not use Roundup in your yard, and not to use any kind of glyphosate, pesticide, or herbicide in your yard. There are so many safe alternatives. And one of the things a friend recommended to me is to use boiling water and pour it on the weeds. And that's certainly what I should have done in the first place that I had, but it didn't occur to me to do that. And another alternative is to mix a gallon of white vinegar with a cup of table salt and a tablespoon of liquid dish detergent. I tend to use a non-toxic brand of dish detergent, and I would recommend you do the same if you're going to the trouble to make this. And then you put this mixture in a plastic spray bottle and spray it directly on the weeds. So that is a gallon of white vinegar with 1 cup of salt and 1 tablespoon of dishwater. The oil and the soap will naturally break down the surface of the weed leaves, and then the salt and the vinegar can go to work. And I've used a similar mix to this, and that's worked pretty well. And it works fairly quickly as well. And you can certainly Google many other ways to get rid of weeds without using Roundup that's not toxic to the things in your life that you love, your pets and your children. But you can't stop your neighbors from using it, and certainly a lot of places around me, because people do have big yards, use lawn services to take care of their lawns. And a lot of my friends in Florida live in complexes where a lot of people use things on their lawns, because they have so many, without the winter, they have so many more pests attacking their lawns. And you just can't be too careful with your pets in these environments, even your cat. Like, one reason to keep your cat indoors is so that he doesn't go walking around the neighborhood where somebody's been using these chemicals, because we all know that cats lick their paws and lick their bodies and lick their legs, and they may look like they're lightly tiptoeing through the grass, but that stuff is sticking to their hair. And the same with your dog. Your dog can get the exposure even without licking it off of his feet. And certainly, like I said, be mindful of the fact that if you walk on it and it's on your shoes, and you walk around your house or your lawn in those shoes, you're also spreading that glyphosate around. So I cannot caution you enough. I mean, there have been lots of places where people have reported that their dog died of cancer or died of some of these effects of walking in glyphosate, especially a small dog with thin hair like a Chihuahua or a Dachshund. A little guy like that, he has got no protection from this stuff, especially a little Chihuahua or even a Bichon. They have kind of long hair, but they are not very hairy dogs. And some little guy like that walking through Roundup, it's going right onto his skin. And again, you'll see lethargy, drooling, vomiting, and diarrhea. And a lot of dogs develop a serious toxic reaction, and people have reported that they believe their dog died of cancer from this, and certainly some authorities have said that it is carcinogenic. So keep your dogs off the treated lawn. Frankly, if I lived in one of those areas like my Florida friends where people are using that on their lawn and then it's getting washed onto the sidewalk, I don't even know if I'd feel comfortable walking on the sidewalk without something to protect my dog's feet. And you can't even be sure that it hasn't washed into the roads. I mean, it just really, this stuff is very toxic, and you cannot be too cautious. And certainly I'm lucky. I live in a place where I can walk on dirt roads and regular roads, which too have, you know, oil and gas from cars on the road and toxic lead fumes coming out and sticking to the road. The rain tends to wash it away. I mean, it's so hard to find a nice, clean environment to walk your dog, especially when you've got a short one like this. If I take him out to the fields, then I've got to really worry about the ticks and things out there. So I tend to walk him on the road, and I try to keep him on the road, to keep out of the ticks, which are abundant on the sides of roads, and also because, like I said, a lot of my neighbors down the road have treated lawns. So please use a lot of caution. And if you know people have treated their lawns, at least wait until it's rained a couple of times before you go in that direction on your walks, to try to minimize the effects as much as you can. And like I said, clean running water is the best way to clear off your dog's feet when you've been in this environment. But try to do that in such a way that you will not be spreading the glyphosate onto your lawn or into your house or into the water supply. I mean, it really is challenging to deal with this. And the best thing is to do, not buy it. And I even thought about going down to the big box store and putting sticky notes on every bottle of this stuff saying, do you know this is toxic to pets? Google it. And that, you know, I'm sure the guys that work in the store eventually would find it and pull off my stickies, if not the people buying this stuff. But it really, there should be more outcry about this because it is a huge problem. And if you Google dogs that have had effects from this, you will find lots of sad stories. So thanks for joining us today. Use natural weed killers in your area and natural herbicides, including hot water and this mix of vinegar and salt and dish soap that I spoke about. And you know what? A lot of weeds are beneficial plants. Dandelions are wonderful. The leaves are excellent astringent to feed your pets if they have kidney problems, or for yourself to clear your liver. And of course you want those not grown by the roadside. Like I love and cherish the ones that are growing in my yard, and I harvest them because those are useful. So don't hate your weeds. Weeds are living things too, and a lot of them have a lot of benefits. A lot of things in our flower essences that I love have originally been called weeds. Clover, for instance, some people think clover in their yard is a weed, and clover has many beneficial qualities. I used to drink clover tea because it helps pull things out of your liver, toxins out of your liver. And certainly my horse, I love to watch him eat because he would pick certain foods that he needed to help him when he was having different troubles in his body. And a lot of what he was eating is stuff I would call a weed in my past, but in fact they have great medicinal qualities. So no Roundup for dogs. Try to keep your dog out of those areas, even if you have to put socks on them with duct tape to keep their feet clean. All right, thanks for joining us today. I have a super packed day, and I will be back on Thursday for another episode of Conversations with a Corgi. Right, Tristan? Everybody have a great day. Have a safe walk in a clean neighborhood. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you on Thursday.